So, hello everybody. I know it's been a long time since we last saw each other, but I'm glad to see you, glad to be here, and we've got a great show in store for you. My name is Smitty. I'm your host of TheRollerPigeonEvolution, and my co-host, Danny Castillo. Say hi to the people, Danny.
What's up, guys?
All right. So, I just want to say to everybody, definitely make sure that you are practicing social distancing. Danny and I are doing the same thing. When we met today, we didn't shake hands. We did the fist bump, the elbow bump. So make sure you guys are doing the same. Keep safe. Obviously, these are trying times. We are not in normal circumstances, so we have to do things that are a little outside of the norm. But back to our pigeons, we need to make sure that our pigeons are safe. We need to make sure that they're healthy and that they're clean. So I wanted to give you a little update on some of the projects that I was working on. The last video we did, I was working on the Stencil program. So if you look at these birds, these are some of the birds that I was able to produce out of my Stencil program. If you look down here, I got some younger birds, beautiful white bars on them with a dark pattern. And you look here, we've got a lavender pattern with the outline almost like a lace, but those are all stenciled. Again, this is what I've been able to do so far. The other program that I was working on was the lace. And I had a family of lace, but I didn't like the body type on them. They were very small, they didn't carry a lot of muscle. These are the Gen 3, Gen 4 that are, as you can see, much more stout, much more apple bodied, better station. They're just all around way better than what I started with. And it goes back to what we talked about, hens dictate type. So the hen that I had to breed these birds off was a really nice muscular hen. The cock was very henny, very ephemerate, not a great cock bird. So what I did, I took him to that hen and I produced these birds right here with great body type and that are carrying way more muscle than their father. So at this point, I can basically do away with the father. Now you look down here, you notice 1, 2, 3, 4 birds. You got a black, you got a model, you got Andalusian, and what appears to be a cream beard. That'd be wrong, because that cream beard is actually Andalusian. The brother is the bird in the cage next to it. So here you have Andalusian that is showing up, or excuse me, you have indigo, which causes these colors, that's showing up as a different color. But it's actually indigo, they both carry indigo. Move over to the next cage, and you got a black and white and a red and white model. Again, both of these birds carry indigo. They're off of the same pairs. So you got one pair that's producing what looks like cream, but it's actually carrying indigo. Andalusian, model, red model, and black and white. So you can get a wide range of colors from a very small group of birds, just to show you. Up top, you've got my old faithful, my Blue Star family. So this cock right here is one of my old Blue Star cocks. Beautiful bird. Great producer. This lavender here is off of my showy red check. Beautiful lavender, my Apodaca family. Here is one of the white bars, opal bar. And this one here is a yellow, what some people call a cream. So this is just to give you a little update on the progress I've been doing with my families. We had a really wet January, February, so a lot of people, it was very cold in California, so a lot of people didn't start breeding right away. So one of the things I want to talk about is preparing your birds for breeding season, making sure that they're fully up to speed and up to par and ready for the task at hand. One of the things we want to talk about also is keeping your birds clean. Danny had asked me a question about birds being clean. What were you saying, Danny?
Yeah, we were just talking about how clean the birds look, and we said, you know what, that's a good video. You know how clean these birds are? The majority of the birds in the loft and the kits, they stay pretty well, they stay pretty clean, and we said, hey, let's just make a video and see what do you do to keep your birds clean or prep them, you know, for...
Exactly. So we're gonna transition over here to the table here, and we're going to talk about some of the products that we have up here. We're going to talk about this one right here, which this is a bath salt. So you can get this at Jed's, and it is a bath salt. This is what I use to keep my birds feather conditioned really good and make sure that it's one little scoop inside there. Matter of fact, I'll pop it open so you guys can take a look at it. One little scoop, looks like Tang, but it's not. Put that in your bath water. It's going to turn the bath water green. No problem. The birds aren't afraid of it. The other thing I do, I take about 2 tablespoons of permethrin, and I also add that to the water. And what permethrin is, it's actually a pesticide. So it's going to kill anything that's on their feathers, like feather mites or lice or anything like that. It's going to keep their feathers clean from external parasites. And then that right there is going to whiten their feathers, brighten their feathers, and make them really look shiny. So 2 things as far as keeping your birds clean from the exterior. So you got them clean on the exterior. So let's talk about making sure your birds are clean internally. So in January, you should probably worm your birds twice a year. So when you talk about worming your birds, what is one of the best wormers? One of the best wormers I've ever used is Ivomec. So this particular wormer, just so you guys aren't blown away by the sticker shock, it's kind of expensive. This container right here is about 80 bucks, but it's actually a really, really good wormer. It's a broad spectrum wormer. It covers a large percentage of the intestinal parasites that pigeons may have. So you can buy it in smaller containers.
Now, how do you use that?
You add it directly to their water, to their drinking water, and you let them drink it for about a week. You know, it's, I think, 3 tablespoons per gallon, but really, really great wormer. You want to make sure you worm your birds at least 2 times a year. So the beginning of the year, mid-year, good time to worm your birds. This time of year, we have a certain types of ailments that the pigeons come up with. Obviously, pox. Whenever you have mosquitoes around, you're going to have pox. So there's a couple things you can do for pox. You've got pox dry.
Let's see here. Or we get a good shot of it so you guys know what it looks like.
Right. So that is used. It's a black astringent, which means it dries out the pox. So once the birds already have the pox virus, you give them that, put it on the sore itself. If the sore forms, you want to pick the sore off to where it starts to bleed, and then put that directly on it. It's an astringent, so it's going to dry it up.
Okay.
And you can do that for about a week, and it usually takes care of the problem. There's also a preventative measure that you can do to stop your birds from getting pox, period. So what that is, it is a pox vaccine. So that is a pox vaccine. So right now we're dealing with the coronavirus. This is a pox virus that affects pigeons, chickens, and poultry. So if you use this vaccine, you take all your young birds as soon as they're ready to come out of the nest, and you administer this vaccine. It's not an injection. It's actually a little brush that you scrape under their leg, and as soon as you see a little blood form under their leg, you're good. You go to the next bird, and you vaccinate all your birds. What it is, this is a modified form of the virus, so it enters that modified form into their bloodstream, and the birds build up an immunity to it. So when they come in contact with a live form of the virus, what happens, they are already predisposed to fighting that virus so they don't get pox. And if they do get it, they get a very mild case of it, okay? So again, a preventative measure and something after the fact. The other thing, you come in contact with, birds are gonna get canker this time of year. So canker is the little white pussy things inside their mouth. You can use Canker Plus, that's one great treatment for canker. Also, you can use Emtrol. These are both water soluble, so you can mix them into their water. When you find birds that have canker, you want to isolate them, put them by themselves. You don't want them drinking out of the same water of all your birds. But if you've got a large percentage of birds that have it, treat everything at the same time. So that's one. The other thing that I've kind of stumbled upon, and I tend to do it when I've got birds that are not producing, especially cock birds, that aren't fertiling. So there's a lot of different factors that goes into a bird with poor reproduction. So one of the things you want to do, you want to make sure, one, that internally he has no parasites, because that's also going to affect his reproduction, because his ability to absorb nutrition is compromised by internal parasites like tapeworms, like whatever kind of worms they may have, hookworms, ringworms, whatever. So you want to get rid of all their worms. Next thing you want to do, you want to make sure that they don't have any type of bacterial infection. So for a bacterial infection, you're going to use an antibiotic. So what I've done, I've taken 3 antibiotics and mixed them together. You know, you heard of the 3-in-1, the 4-in-1. Well, what I've done, I've taken 3 antibiotics and 1 antimicrobial and mixed those together, and I run it through a bird that is not fertiling or not producing for about 30 days. And a lot of times we'll do an antibiotic for 7 days. Well, when you're dealing with birds that have internal infections, I find if I run it through them 30 days with 4 different types of antibiotics, I kill everything that's there. Okay. So you have to understand antibiotics. Antibiotics kill all bacteria in the bird's gut. But when you kill all the bacteria, you kill the bad bacteria and the beneficial bacteria. They're both in the bird's gut. So how do you replace that beneficial bacteria? Well, I'm going to show you. This is what you call a probiotic. A probiotic, what it does, it replaces the beneficial bacteria because they need that beneficial bacteria to absorb nutrients and to perform. So make sure you pick up a probiotic to replace after you've used an antibiotic. So let's talk about antibiotics. The 3 antibiotics that I use is 1, this is amoxicillin. So doxycycline is what I use as 1. Then I mix it with this one right here. Tetroxy. Tetroxy is also another antibiotic. Then I also mix with gallamycin. So you got 1 doxycycline, you got, which is tetracycline, and then you got gallamycin. Then we talked about which is avochlor or Aerochlor, which is an antimicrobial. So an antimicrobial mixed with 3 antibiotics. So that's the 4. That's my 4-in-1.
All right.
Okay. And that right there, that pretty much concludes what we do or what I do in preparation for breeding season, in treating canker, in treating pox, treating internal pests or parasites, treating external parasites, and taking care of feather quality.
You guys remember, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, ask the questions. If you guys have suggestions and what types of videos you guys want to see, or if you guys are experiencing some issues with the health of your birds,
definitely
feel free to reach out to us on the page, and we'll get back to you.
Definitely. Thank you for watching this episode of Roller Pigeon Evolution. Again, my name is Smitty and my host Danny Castillo. And remember, you only know what you know. Hit the like button and subscribe.
Here we go.
I swear I lost so many times in the past, but I ain't learned to slow down, I keep it on the gas. You niggas hands out for the cheese, you a rat. You wanna see who really ballin', you can check the stats. No, I can't tell if I'm a freshman or the graduating class. As a really presidential, but the rate is still a rental. I ain't gotta make no payments on the Bentley Continental. I'ma drive it like a stolen speeding through the residential. Ooh, oh.